Good evening, everyone. Great to be with you this evening. Thank you, Dr. Andy, for that very wonderful introduction. And I think this evening you're going to see some discovery learning in a certain way, and maybe not as quite as exciting as we had last week with that awesome experiment at the end, but also we're going to have some expository learning as well going on. So we hope you really enjoy it and get a lot out of it. Zarni and myself, and I think all of us have been very pleased and rewarded with all of the great presentations we've seen so far. And we've learned so much through those presentations and through the reflections also on the blog. And it's just been a fantastic learning experience for me personally. So I want to start by saying thank you, all of you, for what you've done so far. And I continue to grow and learn so much. And this evening we hope that we'll be able to continue that very exciting learning process that we've been going through over the last few weeks with a new topic that's probably familiar to you actually, especially if you've learned with Dr. Andy before. I'm sure you've heard about this. On the screen, I'd just like to ask you a question. What do you see happening in that animation there on the screen?
Flower blooming.
Okay, blooming. Now, with those words that Olivier just said, who do you think we might be talking about this evening? Flower blooming. So you guys know all this stuff. Bloom's taxonomy. Now, how does a flower blooming, how might, well, we may not be able to answer this right at this point, but it's good to maybe predict a little bit about what we might see down the road in the presentation. How might this flower blooming connect to what we may be talking about this evening? Drawing on some prior knowledge that you may have about bloom.
Grow a little by little.
Okay, growing little by little, that's good. Anything else? How might this relate to Benjamin Bloom or anything you may know about him?
There are different steps. The yellow bloom, if the step before it's not ready, like if it grew up first, so it's continuity.
Okay, that's excellent. That's great. Very good point. Basically, what we hope, what our goal is through this evening is we're going to, of course, review some information that we have some prior knowledge about and hopefully delve a bit deeper into it. At the same time, the ultimate goal of all this is how can we see our students truly bloom from an educational perspective. And I believe that by the time we get to the end of this tonight, you're going to see kind of what Benjamin Bloom was talking about when he was thinking about how can we get students to reach their full potential. How can students really think in a way that they're meant to think and do everything that they're meant to do. And hopefully we'll be able to go back to our schools and our workplaces, wherever we are serving younger students or older students or training or whatever we're doing educationally related. We can help our students to bloom and become everything that they're meant to be and everything that they want to be. So we'd just like to introduce with that, and we just want to show a quote to you. And some of you, especially if you teach younger children, are probably familiar with Dr. Seuss, and probably you've heard of this quote before. Think left and think right, and think low and think high. Oh, the thinks you can think up, if only you try. Now, again, drawing on what prior knowledge you may have about Benjamin Bloom and the steps that Olivier already mentioned in different levels, how do you think this quote might apply to even just a few things we just mentioned here in the beginning? There's a few key words in there that really stand out when we're thinking about Bloom and things that he did. I know we haven't introduced any of the meat yet, but again, drawing on some prior knowledge. Any ideas, any thoughts? Some key words in there that are really going to connect with what we're talking about. I heard it. Okay, think. Great. Think. What else?
Plan.
Okay. Try. Certainly. Definitely.
Low and high.
Okay, low and high. Excellent. Okay. Think, low, high, try. Probably out of all the words in that quote, those are going to be key words, really key words in everything we're going to be sharing with you tonight. Very, very important. Low, high, and some of these things are a bit controversial in the educational world. Not everybody agrees with them. Some of the things we're going to be going through. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. So as you know, our topic is Bloom's Taxonomy. It's called the cornerstone of cognitive development. Thinking about that word cognitive, again, a bit of a review. What does that mean to you when you hear the word cognitive? Okay, thinking. Okay, thinking, knowledge, right? Cognitive. What's a cornerstone, by the way? What do we mean when we say cornerstone?
So we think size on it?
Okay, that's very good. I like that.
It's what's built upon.
Okay, a foundation. Okay, good, excellent. So some kind of foundation of our development of thinking skills, something along these lines. Okay, we're going to be getting into. So Bloom's Taxonomy. And before we go any further, probably you may be thinking, what is this word taxonomy? What does this word mean? Any thoughts? Any ideas on what do we mean by taxonomy? This is going to be crucial, right, to understanding what Bloom's taxonomy is all about. Okay, excellent, fantastic. Yes, it's a classification system, right? Classifying things, putting things into different levels or different groups. Okay, we're going to see that in just a moment. As the final part of our introduction, we'd like to share with you just a short video that we were able to collect from the net. It's kind of an interesting short way to wrap up the introduction that we've just shared.
Bloom's taxonomy is the classification of the 6 different levels of the cognitive domain or the thought process. The first and most basic of these levels is knowledge. This refers to defining, naming, or labeling an object. This is a drum. The next of these levels is comprehension. This refers to the classification or description of the object. Drum is a percussion instrument. The next of these levels is application. This refers to what you do with the object, or its demonstration or practice. Well, you make music with a drum. The next of these levels is application. I mean analysis. This refers to the actual way in which you do what you do with the object. Well, using a drum, you hit it with sticks to make music, like so. The next of these levels is called synthesis. This refers to the actual writing or creating of works. Well, with the drum, you make music, like so. Evaluation. This refers to the assessment or the judgment of the works created.
Hey, can I get that from you for a second?
Yeah, sure. What did you think of the work?
I'm going to say absolutely terrible.